a shining light in the sparkling city by the sea.
Her music is timeless. It'll never end.
Tonight, we remember Como la Flor, the flower that brightened so many lives in the coastal bend.
She had such an impact on not just this community, but gosh, just so around the world.
Selena's life tragically cut short.
One of the saddest days in my life.
Now, 30 years later, her memory lives on through her music and the lives she touched.
People still continue, 30 years later, still coming and paying their respects to her.
Chris 6 News starts right now. And we thank you for joining us. I'm Andy Lascano. It was 30 years ago today when Selena Quintanilla was tragically taken from this world. And we want to use the first few minutes today to remember her, the impact she made, and the lives she touched. She was known as the Queen of Tejano for catapulting Tejano music into the mainstream culture. She moved to Corpus Christi in the 1980s, and despite her rise to fame, stayed here until her death in 1995. Neighborhood News reporter Suzanne Stevens spoke with former KZTV anchor Dave Johnson about the day Selena was shot. He recalled the emotion when Selena's dad, Abraham, broke down in front of cameras at the hospital.
He's trying to be a man, but he broke down, and I literally broke down watching him break down. That guy's got a heart, people, and that got me. Selena is laid to rest at Seaside Memorial Park. She became the first Tejano singer to go gold with her album Ven Conmigo, and success continued when she won her first Grammy in 1994. But just shortly after that, her life was cut short when she was shot and killed by the president of her fan club, Yolanda Saldivar. Neighborhood News reporter Michaela Chavez spoke with visitors at the Selena statue, asking what the singer meant to them.
Hispanics, we're full of talent, and she's the one that showed that within you, if you try for it, you shoot for it, you could reach your goals.
Knowing that she worked, playing these little gigs and traveling in that bus, and she had to work up towards it. And so it shows people that with hard work, you can find success if you've got the talent, which she did.
Saldivar was recently denied parole and won't be eligible again until 2030.
Retro Tejano 104.1 as we pay tribute to Selena. We miss you so much, Selena, and thank you for all the great music.
That's right, all over the airwaves today, a Selena Music Marathon all day on Retro Tejano 104.1. The local radio station will honor the singer by playing her songs all day long, the Queen of Tejano, for 24 hours straight. It's a yearly tradition with listeners requesting different songs from across Selena's catalog.
From Bailes de Cumbia to Bidi Bidi Bum Bum, there's so many of them. It really would be tough to, I think it's a tie with 10 of her songs.
Well, Edo Cañas also says the station will play some songs that have never been heard before, courtesy of her dad, Abraham Quintanilla. So, question for you. What are some of the best Selena songs of all time? You surely have your own list. Many people do, but let's check out the most popular tracks from the Queen of Tejano, according to Music Metrics Vault. These are the top 5 most streamed Selena songs on Spotify. Coming in at number 5, No Me Queda Más, followed by El Chico del Apartamento 512. Si Una Vez is at number 3, with the classic Como la Flor at 2, and finally, Amor Prohibido tops the list. Well, Selena and her family moved to Corpus Christi's west side in the late 80s. They lived on Bloomington Street in the Molina neighborhood. She enrolled at West Oso Junior High School, where Danny Noyola was a coach and health teacher. He remembers Selena as a charismatic and highly intelligent student.
My mother-in-law. I think the thing that impressed us more than anything was that even though she was rising in her popularity with her music, there at school, she was just like if she was any other student, and she had this humbleness about her that really was again also clearly outstanding.
Well, after Selena finished junior high, she and her family decided it was in her best interest to finish her classes via correspondence. So she got her high school equivalency and a bachelor's degree in business administration. So to wrap up our Selena coverage, we asked you, the viewers, to share any memories you had or have of Selena with us on social media. The responses show just how beloved she was. Our first submission comes from Raymond Smith. This picture was taken in 1993. Selena always had time for her young fans. Here's one from Joyce Andrade. And here's a physical photo that Michael Pruneda sent in with Selena's autograph. Look at that. That's an all-time keeper, I'm sure. If you'd like to share a memory you have with Selena, just visit our Facebook or any social media you see on your screen. Well, in other news, it is a new week of spring here in South Texas, and the conditions are hot, humid. We welcome back meteorologist Julia Quady. We missed you last week.
I missed
you missed
you
all
too.
the big storm, the rain that we had here. So the rain is over, but the heat and the humidity and all of that and the bugs are here with us.
Yeah, they are. It's going to get really, I mean, already it was very hot and humid. I don't know if you spent any time outside, but like we definitely felt that heat and humidity out there, seeing those feel like temperatures reaching toward the 90s, maybe the upper 90s throughout some neighborhoods. But it's just a taste of summer just beginning for us on this Monday, going to worsen as we look ahead towards the midweek, definitely by Wednesday. But right now, taking a look at our Whataburger Skycam over Whataburger Field, we can see those gorgeous blue skies, make you think we got gorgeous conditions out there weather-wise. It is if you like that summertime heat. Now, if you don't, then this forecast is not going to be really music to your ears, to put at the least. But looking at our temperatures right now, all of us sitting well into the 80s for our current temperatures. 84 degrees here in Corpus Christi with a feel like temperature of 90 degrees. 88 in Robstown, feeling like 96. And over in Kingsville, you guys are sitting at 84 degrees with your feel like temperature currently at 91. So that moisture and humidity, that's why we're going to start to see a bigger discrepancy between our air temperatures and our feel like temperatures warming up each and every day this week. More details on what we can expect with heat and humidity on the way. My full forecast coming up.
Keeping crime down one scan at a time. I'm Tyree Spoon, your Kingsville neighborhood news reporter, and I'll tell you how this new tech is helping Kingsville PD keep neighbors safe. I'm Tyree Spoon, your Kingsville neighborhood news reporter. Some new tech is helping the police department combat crime. I spoke with the lieutenant who showed me how it works and how it's improving the safety for neighbors.
Many who live and work in Kingsville tell Chris 6 News they've noticed crime happening in the city limits.
There's definitely a history of crime downtown.
Kudos Coffee House owner Cyrus Obregon says the crime ranges from cars being stolen to businesses robbed.
Once every year, every couple of years, Miss Yola right here across the street has some issues with kids breaking into her shop and stuff like that. And then I know Oliver's down the street had a break-in about a year or so ago.
Kingsville is also aware. Michael Chavana, a lieutenant with the department, says license plate readers are helping investigators.
Because of that, we were able to pinpoint more or less the individual that was involved, and we ended up catching, the Kingsville Police Department ended up catching him with the jewelry.
According to studies, the readers are able to process 2,000 plates per minute with the accuracy rate of 90%. The LPRs, the lieutenant says, can help determine if a vehicle is stolen, find a missing person, or maybe a person of interest.
We just had one that got caught on the highway that was wanted for murder in another state. And because of the LPR systems, one of our officers was able to pick him up and did the traffic stop and took him into custody.
The department plans to add more LPRs on vehicles to keep neighbors here safe.
Knowing that there's cameras other than what the business owners might have in their business would help out a lot. It's a little bit of security for the business owners, at least mentally, feeling a little bit more comfortable.
The Kingsville police say they will continue to find ways to help their community feel safer. In Kingsville, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tyree Spoon, Chris 6 News.
All right, Tyrese, thanks for that report. The Harbor Bridge project finally has a debut date, May 10th. But in the meantime, there's still work being done and closures you need to know about today through Friday. There'll be an intermittent lane closure on southbound I-37 between Nueces Bay Boulevard and the Crosstown interchange. Beginning Wednesday through Friday, all I-37 entrance and exit ramps will be closed from Nueces Bay Boulevard to the Crosstown interchange. The lane and ramp closures will be in effect from 4 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon every day. Now, let's check in with Julia for the rush hour traffic report. Oh, Julia.
All right, now taking it outside off our Skycam over at SPID, we can see some haze out there, so it's not great to look at. Of course, combined with all that moisture and humidity in the air, just making things feel a little bit more extra uncomfortable heading out the door. But let's go and take a look at those traffic flow maps to get a better idea what you can expect for your drive right now at this hour. Hey, from Portland over to the Harbor Bridge, things are moving pretty well right now. You don't have to have any issues or concerns for any of your traffic flow right now on the bridge. Now heading on over to downtown, all clear on Ocean Drive, looking good on SPID. Heading on Saratoga, though, you can expect a bit of some small, medium slowdowns here and there throughout your drive and your commute. Same thing over on Flower Bluff as you look on Walter Road, heading on Flower Bluff Drive. They're all clear heading to and from the island on the JFK Causeway. That's it for Traffic Report. For details of your forecast coming up.
It's about that time again on the beach. I'm talking about Kemp's Ridley sea turtle nesting season. I'm Erin Holly, your Port Aransas Neighborhood News reporter, taking a look at what you can do to help keep this endangered species safe.
Hey there, welcome back. I'm meteorologist Julia Quady. Got plenty of sunshine out there across the coastal bend, only adding towards the summertime-like heat that we're going to be seeing lasting the forecast not only today, but extending throughout the rest of your work week. Right now, taking a look at our live Sand Dollar City Sky Cam over at Port A, we can see, of course, those waves are going out there. Those winds are also blowing, coming in for the most part from a northerly component, eventually switching to a southeasterly wind with more of that moisture and humidity that's going to add towards our forecast and towards the extra bump in our temperatures and our feel-like temperatures ahead for the later days this week too. But right now here in Corpus Christi, currently sitting at 84 degrees, feeling like 90. Over Robstown, sitting at 88 degrees with the feel like temperature at 96. And over in Kingsville, you guys are sitting at 84 degrees with your feel like temperature sitting at 91. So again, it is feeling like the 90s across the coastal bend, even with our temperatures sitting currently in the 80s. And that's just because of all that moisture and humidity out there at play for us across the area. Now taking a quick look at temperatures over on the south side, we can see we're still looking at around the same range of our temperatures into the lower to mid 80s, just like we saw with our current air temperature over in Corpus Christi, sitting around 84 degrees. So over on the south side, seeing those temperatures pretty much matching that as well. We see our winds are still coming in with a bit of a northerly component throughout some parts of the coastal bend, particularly our inland neighborhoods like Beeville and George West. Getting a little bit closer to areas around the coast, though, seeing those winds now coming in from the southeast, going upwards around 15 miles an hour. But these are light wind speeds for today. We'll be looking at even higher wind speeds ahead as we look ahead towards tomorrow and prevailing throughout the rest of your work week. Of course, that's also going to promote more of that moisture and humidity that's already currently in place, that's going to grow and really add towards those really sticky conditions that'll be lasting throughout the work week. Only going to begin to see a bit of a dip in that heading towards this weekend. That's just going to be that next cold front that's actually going to give us cooler temperatures and potentially some rain in the forecast for us this weekend. Right now, taking a look at our big weather picture, right now, this is this frontal boundary that's giving us a little bit of grace of this moisture and humidity right now, giving us a little bit of a grace period at this moment, but this won't be in store for us tomorrow. We'll really start to see those temperatures really begin to skyrocket, especially ahead for us on your Wednesday. Now looking at our wind forecast, it's also that frontal boundary that is giving us a bit of that northerly component with our winds at this point, but looking ahead towards tonight and certainly by tomorrow, we'll see our winds consistently more coming in from an easterly direction, then switching over to a southeast direction. We'll also see our winds begin to increase and jump to around 20 miles an hour winds or more. That will be sustained throughout the rest of our work week. So that's why I noted we'll be looking at a bit of a gusty week ahead for us in terms of our wind speeds. Ahead for tonight, though, we'll see our temperatures be a bit in a mild and muggy range for us, going only towards the upper 60s towards the lower 70s for our evening lows for tonight. So again, very muggy conditions that will be in store and felt not only during our afternoon hours, but even ahead for tonight with not really seeing a big jump, or I should say a decrease in our temperatures for tonight. Ahead for tomorrow, see a bit of a smaller temperature for our high temperatures on your tomorrow on your Tuesday. Temperatures only reaching around the 80s across the coastal bend yet again, but with that moisture component, we'll still see that things will be feeling much warmer than that with those feel-like temperatures once again reaching towards the 90s. Now looking ahead at what else you can expect in your forecast, again, hot and muggy conditions throughout the rest of your work week, gusty winds beginning tomorrow coming from the southeast, and then thankfully some rain chances will turn back to the forecast for us this weekend with that next frontal boundary that will begin to push on through. But for now, just hot and muggy conditions with a feel like summer.
I'm Erin Holly, your Port Aransas Neighborhood News reporter. I drive these beaches every day, but what I and others who visit the beach need to remember, it's Kemp's Ridley sea turtle nesting season. I went to the Amos Rehabilitation Keep here in Port A to find out how we can all play a part to avoid a turtle disaster. driving on the beach,
protection from any vehicles that are coming. Oftentimes they'll nest in the roadway.
Is pretty common here.
And they'll cross the roadway and nest right at the base of the dunes. So just be super careful when driving on the beach. The slower the better.
But beachgoers also need to be aware of these little guys. I went out to the beach to talk to neighbors about turtle nesting season.
I have heard about how the Kem's Ridley turtles, where the mom turtle comes and lays her eggs up by the dunes, and about 6 to 8 weeks later, the babies are born.
That's right. The mother Kemp's Ridley turtle makes its way from the water up to the dunes to lay her eggs. I wanted to find out more about the process, so I headed over to the Amos Rehabilitation Keep in Port Aransas.
So a lot of times people will come up to us when we're excavating the eggs and they ask what happens to them, why are we doing this? And there's a lot of threats that they face on the beach. There's ghost crabs, there's birds, there's coyotes, there's human interaction, there's high tides that can flood the nests out.
Organizations like the Ark take the eggs from the nests to protect them until they're ready to hatch. They stay at the incubation facility at Padre Island National Seashore and are later released back onto the beach after they hatch.
Last year was a record nesting year, so we seem to see more and more turtles on Mustang Island every year.
And I found out that last year, the Ark recorded 25 Kemp's Ridley turtle nesting attempts on Mustang Island. Last year during this time, I caught up with Dr. Donna Shaver of Padre Island National Seashore, and she told me they were having a good nesting year in 2024 as well.
Well, as human beings, we are the steward of wildlife, right? So it's really important that we watch out for endangered species, because if we don't, they could become extinct altogether.
And if you see a nesting mama or turtle tracks in the sand like these ones here, call 1-866-TURTLE-5 as soon as possible to report it. Andrew Orgill from the Ark says you should keep your eye out for Kemp's Ridley sea turtles nesting on the beach. Kemp's Ridley sea turtle nesting season runs until July. In Port Aransas, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Erin Hawley, Chris 6 News.
Aaron, thanks for that report. An unprecedented move that would alter the Constitution forever. A bold statement from President Trump just ahead.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
Car parts, steel, aluminum, how about European wine? These are all foreign goods that will be affected by President Trump's next round of tariffs. Tonight, Scripps News Group's Ava Joy Burnett examines how these tariffs could lighten your wallet.
Long teased tariffs are set to go into effect this week.
This is the beginning of Liberation Day in America.
On Wednesday, President Trump says reciprocal tariffs are on the table for all countries. And on Thursday, 25% tariffs on foreign-made cars and auto parts are set to kick in. The White House says they will raise hundreds of billions of dollars and spark more companies to produce their goods domestically. But many economists say consumers will pay the price, including economics professor Keith Maskus.
In the end, it is pretty much always the domestic consumers that pay almost the full share of these tariffs.
That could mean higher prices for cars, groceries, housing, and other goods impacted by the tariffs.
The share of consumption that low-income households pay for tariffs is much, much higher than it is for middle-income or higher, wealthier consumers.
Tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China alone could cost the average household up to $2,000 annually, according to an analysis from Yale University earlier this month. President Trump is referring to Wednesday as Liberation Day, but many American consumers are not optimistic about the impact tariffs will have on them. According to a new CBS News YouGov poll, 72% of Americans think the tariffs will increase prices in the short term, and less than a third believe it will drive prices down in the long term. Ava Joy Burnett, Scripps News Group, Washington.
President Trump not ruling out the possibility of seeking a third term in the White House. According to the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, a president can only serve 2 terms, but in an interview with NBC News, the president proposed a scenario where Vice President J.D. Vance would run for office and then pass the role to Trump. The president clarified that he was not joking. We'll be back.
The Cougars Cougars advance to their 7th Final Four and hoping this trip brings them their first title.
Yeah, you can't beat March Madness, and it's going to be a short trip for Houston's basketball team. The Cougars are headed to San Antonio this coming weekend for the Final Four. They beat Tennessee 69-50 yesterday. Next, they'll play Duke at the Alamo Dome on Saturday night, April 5th. The winner of that game will play for the national championship Monday night, April 7th. And you can see the entire Final Four action on KZTV CBS starting at 5 o'clock. All right, so the rain came as we were grateful for.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's going to be hotter than heck.
That's the way to put it.
No.
I know, I like it though. I'm happy. I'm
Yeah,
not
I know
complaining.
you are.
I'm looking at the 90s. I'm excited for all these type of temperatures coming in. The very hot and humid, so you want to make sure you're drinking extra water and stay hydrated. We got more rain chances on the way looking ahead towards this upcoming
good.
weekend too.
Okay, good. See you at 6.